well, my goodness, when it comes to motion, when it comes to moving the needle, we all know the one that does that in women's sports. Notice I just didn't say women's basketball. In women's sports, we know who is not only moved the needle, but one could argue moved the needle and broke the needle clean off. And that is Caitlin Clark.
There is just one name that dominates women's basketball and leaves everyone else in the dust. In addition to making an impression, Caitlin Clark has totally changed the definition of what it means to be a game changer, whether it's breaking attendance records, outselling the league in jersey sales, or controlling national television. Caitlin has torn off the entire gauge in addition to simply moving the needle.
Let's get to Luka Doncic, all right? Who, of course, plays for the Lakers now after having been traded from the Dallas Mavericks. And my goodness, he was asked about his favorite women's basketball player. This is hilarious.
However, Luka Doncic recently gave one of the most refreshingly honest opinions in recent memory when asked about women's basketball. He didn't mince words or give a politically safe response. Instead, he went all in and named Caitlin Clark as his favorite player. Let's just say that he didn't exactly throw a lavish party for Paige Bueckers, and even though she can be a fantastic player in the WNBA, the WNBA media is giving us the impression that she is the end-all and be-all without even playing a single game. If you agree with Caitlin, type CC all the way down in the comments below.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Paige Bueckers?
Well, she's okay. I didn't see her playing in the women's NBA, so.
She just got drafted.
#1.
Dallas.
Lucy's response was harsh. He didn't even blink before mentioning Clark, and when a reporter attempted to change the subject to Beckers, Lucas casually muttered, "She's okay," indicating that he hadn't even bothered to watch Paige in the WNBA because, well, there isn't anything to see yet.
Hilarious. Who's your favorite women's basketball player? Caitlin Clark. You don't like Paige Bueckers? Quote, shrugs. She's okay. Haven't seen her play in the WNBA, so okay. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Petty as F. It is, and it's great.
And the mainstream media simply cannot handle that joke, while some publications are ready to establish a rivalry. The basketball community already knows that Caitlin Clark is the moment, and Paige is still waiting for hers. But Luka's perspective revealed this fact.
And of course, the collateral part of that is he used to play in Dallas, which is where Paige Bueckers plays now. And by the way, last I checked, her rookie game, debut game, still was not sold out as of yet, which tells you the impact or lack thereof. I mean, let's just be real.
The entire conversation with Lucas was amusing, but it also showed that he didn't need to disparage anyone because he didn't fall for the media's hype. Lucas is aware of what great talent looks like, and when he sees Clark, he sees a celebrity changing the course of history. When he hears about Paige, it sounds like someone discussing a trailer for an unreleased film.
WNBA GMs have actually been talking about Paige, and thank God, like, just because you're seeing mad stuff, genuinely, you're going to be seeing mad stuff from the media, does not mean that the WNBA GMs are not being a little bit more honest.
Even among coaches and analysts who are the most knowledgeable about the game, the consensus is beginning to change. Paige still receives a lot of press, but few truly expect her to take the league by storm like Clark did. She hasn't proven herself in the fire yet, and in a league as tough as the WNBA, potential means nothing until it's proven on the court. It's not personal, it's professional because Paige has delivered under pressure, broken records, and lifted a franchise.
As one general manager put it, I think she can impact the league immediately, she can be dangerous right away, which is true, which is very, very true. Like, we can't lie and say that GMs last year did not literally say the words, "I would trade my entire team for Caitlin Clark." Like, we can Like, we can talk about that. Like, just
Lucy's shrug of the shoulder wasn't merely amusing. It served as a reality check. Although Paige may be overhyped, Clark is already making a significant impact on how people discuss, watch, and, most importantly, spend money on women's basketball. Lucas's subdued disregard for Paige wasn't sarcasm. Rather, it was reality.
I think what makes her special is she can fill a gap, she can fill whatever gap, and that's true. And that's the one thing with Paige, is Paige will always fit in, whereas Caitlin Clark was the system. Like, I don't know, like, how great Caitlin Clark would have been if you put her on, I don't know, she's good enough to, if you put her on every team, she would have been insanely good. But, like, Caitlin Clark fits out. She is the system, and I can guarantee you that Caitlin Clark's system is...
Soon after Luka's candor broke through the clutter, other WNBA players were attempting to change the course of history. For example, Curt Miller, general manager of the Dallas Wings, awkwardly implied that Beckers would have a more difficult rookie season than Caitlin Clark because Clark had the benefit of an Olympic break. Let's dissect that because it is absurd.
Basically, Wings GM conveys key difference in Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark's rookie season. He said the one thing when you talk about last season is that Paige won't have the benefit that Caitlin did. And this is nothing against Caitlin, but we had an Olympic break last year. So you got to see some players take a month-long break, essentially. And those rookies were coming off a grueling season in the collegiate game. They got a break and got to reset and finish.
After one of the most difficult seasons in NCAA history, leading Iowa to the national championship game under intense media scrutiny, Caitlin Clark didn't enter the WNBA rested and rejuvenated. Within 2 weeks, she was sent to WNBA training camp with the Indiana Fever.
This draft class, which includes Paige, is not going to have that luxury. We don't have a big break where they can almost catch a second win and then push to the finish line in the second half of the season, he continued. So we have to watch this rookie class around the league about load management. It's not just our rookies. We're all going to be tuned in to load management, especially these rookies that played long into their collegiate season. I didn't really see any of the benefit that Caitlin Clark got coming into the season.
For her, there was only exhaustion, constant media attention, and a weight of expectations, no respite, no slow onboarding, no Olympic break. Caitlin was thrown into the fire with the expectation that she would save a franchise and, in many ways, an entire league. What she did with that pressure was incredible. She broke 62 records, led the league in assists, packed arenas, and made WNBA tickets the most sought-after item in sports. Please excuse us.
We want to see Caitlin Clark and we want to see Paige Bueckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
Paige Bueckers has had one of the best careers in the history of women's college basketball. On paper, you could make the case that Paige Bueckers has better college career than Caitlin Clark. But this is the world of television, where you're not judged based on your accomplishments, you're not judged based on your stats, you're judged based on your drawing power. And looking at these ratings for the women's tournament, it is abundantly clear Paige Bueckers might be a star, but she's...
In addition to being untrue, implying that Clark had it easier is an insult to all she went through and accomplished. It's also a desperate attempt by people attempting to impose parity, where there isn't any Caitlin while Luka Doncic is out here keeping it real. The media needs to catch up. This isn't a rivalry, but Clark didn't need rest or a soft landing. She just wanted one thing, a basketball. When she got it, she showed the world what greatness looks like. Although Beckers is undoubtedly gifted, she is still in the shadow of a phenomenon, and if the early impressions from real hoopers are any guide, that shadow won't be disappearing anytime soon.
Were the topic of conversation. Who's the better player?
She's not nearly the player that Caitlin Clark is.
You know, she's been really disappointing this whole tournament.
We're not creating this rivalry. We're not saying they hate each other, but they are two of the best in the game.
There has been an overt attempt to lower expectations for Paige Bueckers in case she falls short of the level Caitlin Clark achieved during her rookie season, but the reality is that there is no comparison in the first place. Caitlin Clark has already established herself as the WNBA's face, bringing in a wave of new fans, packing stadiums to capacity, and shattering television records everywhere. Paige may have excelled in college, but from the WNBA's perspective, she is still just a name, untested, and uncontested on the professional stage. When she does take the court, her performance, not the glitzy media features or the skillfully written narratives, will be what counts.
If the impact was what we're led to believe, two things would have happened there. All right. Her debut game would have been moved to the American Airlines Arena. It hasn't been. By the way, her game against Caitlin Clark has been moved there to where the Mavericks play. And it would have been sold out at record speed. Neither one of those things have happened.
There won't be any time buffers or built-in excuses in the pros. You either make an impression or you're ignored. Caitlin Clark didn't only change the subject, she completely upended the scale. There won't be an Olympic break to give her breathing room. If her poor ticket sales and lack of buzz thus far are any indication, the forced comparisons being spun by the media are already unraveling. Caitlin earned her status through performance, not predictions, and no amount of PR or front office wishful thinking will change that. The pressure is now on her to demonstrate that she even deserves to be in the same breath, let alone the same tier.
Keep that in mind, all right, as people tries to tell you who the equals are running around in this league. Nah, I don't see. Not only do I not think Paige is going to move the needle, I don't think she's going to flutter it. I don't think it's going to vibrate slightly.
While Caitlin Clark has been revolutionizing the sport with her on-court actions, another kind of storm has been building off the court behind the scenes. The WNBA's so-called legacy media voices, who once controlled the flow of coverage and attention, are watching their influence wane. Rather than celebrating what Caitlin Clark has done for the league, many of them have chosen to disparage her, attack her supporters, and sow needless divisions among the fan base.
Basically, we know Natalie Esquire, a serial hater when it comes to the Caitlin Clark fan base. She's pretty much a driving force behind a lot of the drama that take place in the media.
You have other people like Sabria Whitaker. You have so many people out there, and people like this, the committee, which is, a group of really, really strong women's basketball fans on Twitter, they have influence. Dawn Staley flew 2 members of the committee to South Carolina's opening game in Paris, okay?
So they're calling old guard WNBA fans the committee. These are the same people that is pushing race narratives. These are the same people that is bashing Caitlin Clark. These are the people she's talking about.
Consider Natalie Esquire, a well-known figure in WNBA media circles, who has gained notoriety for supporting the expansion of the sport, but rather for targeting Clark and her growing fan following. Whether she is aware of it or not, Natalie has frequently portrayed Clark's fans as troublesome and held them accountable for the toxicity in the WNBA conversation. This portrayal belies the reality. The criticism directed toward Caitlin isn't about her performance. Rather, it's about control. The balance of power is changed, and the establishment doesn't like.
In Natalie Esquire's heart is so strong, LOL. She said this in 4 different ways for absolutely no reason. NBC, at Indiana Fever, we don't want her covering America's team. Natalie Esquire said only one is super problematic, emo, in my experience, and based on listening to what has been said and reported on all year, it's a common theme. I only get harassed to endure racism, receive threatening emails, DMs from one fan base, so yes, it's...
Prior to Caitlin Clark, the media landscape surrounding women's basketball was tiny, highly gatekeeper, and opinionated. Twitter disputes dominated the discourse, and a select few voices had a significant impact on which players were praised and which weren't. When Clark came, things abruptly changed. New fans poured in from all directions, and the doors flew open. NBA fans, college students, and casual spectators contributed a new viewpoint and, most significantly, increased participation and ticket sales. The game expanded, but not everyone was happy with the increase.
It can apply in all of sports, but there is a notable difference in one fan base with respect to the W. This tweet said, no, it's one. It's not allegedly. This is my experience, and it only comes from a specific set of fans. So yes, for me, it's one fan base. You've already heard a player say in her career she's never experienced anything like this. Stop trying to violate our spirit.